A powerful documentary produced by Steph Curry on the big screen at the Museum of the Bible.
Plus, professional sports, restaurants, newsmakers, and marquee events. We're taking a look at some of the best moments from We Are Washington.
Those stories coming up. The news rundown is straight ahead. We Are Washington starts now.
Welcome to We Are Washington. I'm Matt Granato.
And I'm Cecily Fernandez. This week, we're talking about the big changes coming to the way you'll travel K Street Northwest. The city continues to deliver on a promise of action on climate under the SolarWorks DC initiative. And finalists in the Ella Fitzgerald competition from around the world land in DC paying tribute to the jazz legend.
Then it's the story that seized national headlines. Now a new documentary exploring the senseless violence at Emanuel Baptist Church and the forgiveness that followed in Charleston, South Carolina is moving audiences at the Museum of the Bible here in D.C. We'll have those features coming up on the way, but now let's get to the news rundown. Some big changes are on the way for K Street Northwest. Mayor Bowser is showcasing plans to redesign the transitway corridor between 12th and 21st Streets to improve safety and make travel easier for everyone.
The new design would focus on enhancing bike accessibility and dedicating traffic lanes for buses. The redesigned proposal places an emphasis on safety, separating buses from general traffic, as well as adding bike lanes and more protections for pedestrians. Mayor Bowser says the changes are necessary to improve everyone's travel experience on K Street.
K Street Northwest is indeed an international destination, home to hotels, conference centers, restaurants, offices, and more. 150,000 people travel along this corridor every day. We know it's a travel experience that we can and must improve.
None of this can happen without your input. We look forward to engaging directly with the community throughout the design process as we deliver this new corridor. The corridor will reflect the mayor's commitment to public transportation, to sustainability, and to investments in our infrastructure.
The D.C. Department of Transportation will hold public meetings this summer to share further information and receive feedback from D.C. residents before moving forward with the plans.
There was a celebration in Ward 6 as SolarWorks DC completed their 100th rooftop installation. SolarWorks DC is a clean energy program that installs solar panels on the homes of low to moderate income residents and also serves as a district job training program.
The growing solar industry is creating pathways out of poverty for tens of thousands of workers. But here in the District of Columbia, we are blazing new trails.
Mayor Bowser calls SolarWorks DC an example of how to address climate change and income inequality. 96 residents so far have graduated from the SolarWorks DC program, and many of them now work locally in the solar industry. The district launches the first ever student guide to graduation, college, and careers, which provides high school students a personalized look at how to plan for their futures.
The guides will be sent to over 8,000 DCPS high school students and includes detailed information on academic performance, standardized test scores, and personal interests. Mayor Bowser says the guides are a way to empower students and families with information to stay on track to graduate and be successful after high school.
There's also a checklist on here that shows me all the steps that I need to be taking to ensure that I'm prepared for the future. There are graduation action steps, college action steps, and career action steps, all of which will definitely help me to ensure that for the future, I know what I'm doing and I'm not lost at all.
The new student guides come as DCPS prepares to launch 2 new early college programs at the newly modernized Coolidge High School in Ward 4 and Bard DC in Ward 7. The Kiwanis Club of Washington, D.C. held its 22nd annual D.C. Student Leader Awards. 3 college-bound high school seniors were presented with scholarships for outstanding community service. The first place winner was Sonia Soto Cruz from Bell Multicultural Center High School, who received a $17,000 scholarship for her work on behalf of young immigrants.
Georgetown University Law Center is honoring the legacy of Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who has served as the D.C. delegate since 1991. Mayor Bowser joined Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin and Georgetown officials for the dedication of the lawn next to the iconic clock tower, which is now named Eleanor Holmes Norton Green. The university also plans to install a monument and bench on the lawn in her honor. Congresswoman Norton was a law professor at Georgetown for 36 years prior to her retirement from the university last year.
Mayor Muriel Bowser and Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton say they are working to protect district local laws from congressional interference during the upcoming 2020 federal appropriations process. During a press conference on Capitol Hill, the two leaders detailed attempts by members of the House of Representatives to include riders in the 2019 D.C. appropriations bill that would have effectively reversed local laws on abortion funding, recreational marijuana, and the Death with Dignity Act. Both Bowser and Norton say they will continue to fight to protect the integrity of the Home Rule Act while also fighting for statehood.
We don't ask for more than our fair share. We know that we pay more than we get. We're larger than 2 states, pay more taxes than 22 states. We send our residents to war. We uphold our end of the bargain for American citizenship, and we just expect to be treated equally.
The rehabilitated Parkway Overlook Apartments in Congress Heights officially welcomed new and former residents to the complex, which has been vacant since 2007. The $82.2 million affordable housing project will provide 220 units for households earning up to 50% of the area median income. The Parkway Overlook Apartments will also provide workforce development training to residents with the installation of solar panels through the Solar for All program.
From improvements to Eastern Market to sidewalk repairs and bike lanes, residents got the chance to weigh in with their priorities at the Ward 6 Budget Town Hall at Jefferson Middle School in Southwest. Councilmember Charles Allen held the town hall on the proposed D.C. budget to explain where he's focused and to get feedback from Ward 6 residents on their priorities.
The legacy of a beloved teacher and coach continues with the 10th annual Frank R. Williams 2-Mile Fun Walk. The walk raises money for scholarships to help college-bound student athletes at Calvin Coolidge Senior High School. The scholarships honor the memory of Williams, who was the star athlete at Coolidge and later returned to coach basketball, leading the team to their best season ever. In 1986, he was named Coach of the Year by the Washington Post. The following year, he was diagnosed with brain cancer and died at the age of 43.
This was started really in honor of our late father and husband, Frank R. Williams, a native Washingtonian, as well as a teacher and a coach here at Coolidge who lost his life due to brain cancer when he was just 43 years old. So this is in response to honoring his legacy and the importance that he felt education provided to students. So we're just carrying on his life and legacy.
To learn more about the Frank R. Williams Scholarship Fund, visit frwfund.com.
A tisket, a tasket, summertime, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Ella Fitzgerald made these songs classics and is recognized all over the world as the First Lady of Song. The 3rd annual Ella Fitzgerald Jazz Vocal Competition at Blues Alley paid tribute to the scat singing sensation on what would have been her 103rd birthday.
Her legacy lives 102 years later, you know what I mean? And that's an impressive thing to be relevant for that long. And it just means that I'm lucky to know this music, really. I really am.
The 5 finalists were selected from 50 singers from around the world, but in the end, it was Melinda Rodriguez from Miami, Florida, who took home the top prize, winning $1,500 and the chance to perform as the opening act for vocalist Renee Marie and the Count Basie Orchestra.
All right, quick recap of some of our top stories this week. How about the competition, Ella Fitzgerald vocal competition? They were pretty talented, weren't they?
Yeah, a lot of talent, and it reminded me that so many young people are still inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. Is really incredible. And I think that part of that is because of YouTube, and young people can now watch her performing. And even the young people we saw at the DC CAP talent competition, a lot of them say that they were inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. All
right, well, moving on, the DCPS guidebook that they've set out for students in DCPS high school. This is a really cool thing. It really empowers students with a lot of information that can help them.
I think this is going to be really transformative for a lot of students, because if you think about being a freshman and receiving something like that that's so personalized.
You know, it sets out a roadmap for you. So that's a great thing, and I think a lot of students will be looking forward to that. Finally today, the improvements coming to K Street over the next couple of years. We were talking about the redesign proposal. There's obviously going to be some public feedback that goes into it. So there's a process before any of this starts, but the changes they're talking about are pretty fundamental to the way K Street will operate.
You expect the congestion, and it's such an important corridor for everybody who lives in D.C. that I'm sure there'll be a lot of feedback.
Absolutely. Mayor Bowser made a point during her remarks at that event where she was talking about how some people, when they take the bus, see some of the pedestrians on the street making it to their destination before the people on the bus do, because that's how slow traffic
That's
can
not
move
good.
sometimes.
Yes, looking forward to those improvements. Coming up, a new documentary weaving the history of race relations, religion, and forgiveness moves audience members at a screening at the Museum of the Bible in D.C.
Plus, there is never a dull moment making this show. Later, we're going to bring you a few of our favorites from over the years. You won't want to miss this.
In June of 2015, the nation was horrified by a mass shooting at the Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. 4 years later, the Museum of the Bible held a screening of a critically acclaimed documentary produced by Viola Davis and Steph Curry called Emanuel that tells a remarkable story of forgiveness. Take a look. Hours after a white supremacist walked into the historic Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and killed 9 people during Bible study, survivors of the shooting and victims' family members gathered in a courtroom and told the shooter they forgave him.
That act of forgiving people is the greatest act of love that one could ever experience.
At a panel discussion following a special screening of the documentary Emanuel, director Brian Ivey said it was this incredible act of forgiveness that inspired him to make the film.
We know that this story's been on the news, but we want the world to know where God was in all of this. And that's why we made the film.
Pastor Dimas Salaberios, who was in Charleston immediately following the tragedy, conducted all of the interviews for the documentary.
Doing the interviews were extremely difficult. I mean, we would cry. Every family member was crying. I mean, this was very fresh to them. Even though some time had passed, to them it was like yesterday.
I do think that there's a higher calling on film as well to communicate stories that must be told and retold until we heal. And so my hope is that the story can accomplish that.
Rose Simmons says she can't help but smile whenever she's asked about her father, Reverend Daniel Simmons Sr., a 4th-generation preacher and a Vietnam veteran who was awarded a Purple Heart.
Everything that he did with excellence. He was an overachiever. If it was in his charge, he made sure that it happened. Yeah, he was that type of person.
Simmons was among the victims of the Emanuel shooting. His daughter says she wanted to be a part of the film to ensure that his memory, along with the other victims, will live on.
I think about my dad and his, and I've coined this, his eternal comrades. How they gave their lives, or their lives were given to bring about conversations. He gave his life for his friends, and I'm so proud of
it. Emanuel opens in theaters nationwide on June 17th and 19th to coincide with the 4th anniversary of the shooting. The producers will donate their share of the profits from the film to survivors and families of the victims.
It's obviously a very powerful movie. You had the chance to see it at the screening at this event. what would you say the biggest takeaway was for you watching it?
Well, there were two big takeaways. One, of course, is the power of forgiveness, which is beautifully detailed in that movie, but also the power of a great documentary. And everybody was moved by it and very thought-provoking, and I would encourage everybody to see it.
Great, great. All right, well, we'll never have enough time to show you all of our favorite moments from We Are Washington, but after the break, we're going to do our best and we're going to try. So don't go away. Welcome back. If you've been with us here on We Are Washington since the very beginning, you might know that from time to time we enjoy taking a moment to stop, to reflect, and to take a look back at where we've been. So now, here are some of our favorite moments from over the years. Mayor Emanuel Bowser.
DC gets a fresh start.
60th birthday of Ben's Chili Bowl.
And it's where culture and culinary come together.
Latin beats from around the globe.
We have those stories coming up.
We Are Washington starts now.
Nothing brings a city together like a championship.
All-Star Fan Fest is in its 27th year, and it's a great way to celebrate the game.
Virtual reality batting cages, historic memorabilia.
We have some special guest hosts on the show this week.
We do. Some of our friends we visited with the Washington Valor.
We Are Washington.
We are watching. What?
No.
The wait is over. DC United is playing their inaugural match here at Audi Field.
We Are Washington on DCN.
We are Washington on DCN.
Yeah.
Capital City Go-Go. If you love basketball, you're going to love this. One more time.
Wow.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
It's fast-paced. It's exciting. A lot going on. That's our game.
We're unlocking the secret of making a great bagel. Look at the steam coming off of that. Wow.
Coming up, weddings in style right here on We Are Washington.
We are watching or Washington?
We Are Washington on DCN.
Today, we're at AwesomeCon here at the Washington Convention Center. I feel like I'm a little overdressed. Is that right? Am I overdressed?
You need a mask or a cape or something, though, to really fit in.
I want to officially welcome you all to Emancipation Day.
All right, everybody. DC, how are we doing today? Sam Leckman is using his skills to change the lives of those still living in his home country.
Put your finger here, sir, Mr. Matt. Hold the card.
Yep.
Is that your card?
That's the one. That's it, yeah.
Do you think we could talk to Whoopi Goldberg?
Hi, what's going on? Hi, hey guys, how are you?
Someone like me who shows up at a convention like this, do I look a little bit overdressed?
Could be the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe.
We Are Washington on DCN.
We are watching on DCN.
Yes, sir.
If you're like me, you take notice when fabulous new ice cream shops open. That's why we're here at Nice Cream to get the scoop.
Wow. No, it really is. There's a lot of flavor in it.
Good.
All right, I'm done.
Okay,
finish the show, right?
yeah.
Okay. Welcome to this special edition of We Are Washington, straight from the historic swearing-in ceremony of Mayor Emanuel Bowser.
It's called Hands on Hearts, and DC Fire and EMS is using this technique. Oh! If you love food, do you like food?
I do.
Okay, then you definitely want to see the Embassy Chef Challenge.
Okay.
This is an event that combines two of the best things in the world, fashion and dogs. Okay.
All right. Have you ever seen skills like this? It's 202 Creates, the kickoff of the Creative Economy Month here in Washington, D.C.
We Are Washington on DCN. Yeah!
Now, how long have I been telling you at the end of the show, go check out our features on YouTube, right?
Exactly. There's the proof right there.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite from over the years that we featured here? What was a favorite moment for you?
Well, I don't like to play favorites.
Right, yeah.
However, you also know I love the Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl is
Can't
great.
get enough of the Puppy Bowl. But that also reminded me, we have great jobs, right? And
Yeah.
DC is a great city, all that stuff going on.
Get to be up front for a lot of fun things, a lot of exciting things that happen around the district. Didn't make it into this video, but one of my favorite moments from over the year, we went to the opening day for baseball for the Nationals at Nationals Park one year, and I wanted to interview somebody on stilts, and he sat right on my shoulder. He didn't tell me he was going to do that, but he sat right on my shoulder, and I asked him questions. A favorite moment for me.
And for you, that's just another day at the office.
It's like another day at the office.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that'll do it for this show, but we do have time for one last thing.
Let me tell you about an event called Meow DC that I read about and I saw over the weekend. This was something that happened behind Union Market at Dock 5, and they had cats from the Humane Rescue Alliance that were available for adoption, but they also had vendors, more than 50 vendors that were available to offer services and different things that you could buy for your cat for pet care, and brought in all sorts of people that were there who just love cats.
Yes, and there are a lot of them.
Apparently there are a lot of them in DC. You really can't have an event like this without a celebrity too, right?
Of course not.
So they did have a celebrity. This is important, so I want to get this right. They did have a celebrity there. It was Bagel the cat.
Bagel
the cat's
the
name
cat.
is Bagel. And it's known as the Sunglasses Cat on Instagram. It's an Instagram influencer. If you don't know what that is, that's somebody on Instagram who basically makes a career out of putting their pictures online and influencing other people. This cat's an influencer and wears sunglasses in different places and caused a big stir when he came here to DC.
You know what? You're giving me some ideas for my dog. You know, there's no reason my dog couldn't be an influencer on, you know. And this story reminds me that we want to make the point that we are not a dogs or cats show. We're a dogs and cats
Dogs and cats.
Exactly.
It's important to be equal and fair in those ways. That's right. Well, that is all the time that we have for today, but we'd like to remind you, as you saw earlier, we have plenty of features for you to check out. Go to YouTube, search Entertain DC. It's going to be all there laid out for you to see.
See you next time.